Welcome to today's Explainer. We are stepping into a deeply cinematic journey of historical and spiritual wisdom, exploring an ancient parable that speaks directly to the human condition. We'll be examining a narrative that tests the very core of what we value, contrasting the fleeting nature of materialism with the enduring power of spiritual grounding. So settle in as we unpack some lessons that are as breathtaking as they are profound. So where does true wealth actually reside? In a world that is just so driven by accumulating stuff, what truly lasts? Keep that question right at the forefront of your mind as we journey through the historical narrative laid out before us today. Section 1. A test of faith and two diverging paths. Our resource material today draws from a really profound narrative in the Quran, specifically Surah Al-Kahf. It introduces us to two very different individuals. First, we have the wealthy man. He is entirely consumed by materialism, immensely rich, and totally blinded by his own pride, contrasting him as his believing friend. Now, he's financially poor, but he is deeply grounded in immense gratitude and unwavering faith. The difference between their mindsets is literally as vast as the earth and the sky. Section 2. The arrogant garden owner, intoxicated by wealth. To really understand his dangerous hubris, we've got to visualize his staggering worldly success. The text paints this breathtaking picture of a seemingly perfect paradise. We're talking about two grand, opulent grape vineyards with borders lined by these towering date palms. Right in the center, lush crops are just thriving. The divine even caused a river to flow directly through it, providing endless perfect irrigation. The land was so fertile, it yielded flawless, abundant harvests without a single fail. It was the ultimate picture of worldly success. But that success ultimately became a poison. Intoxicated by the greenery and the sweet scent of his blooming flowers, the wealthy man takes a stroll with his poor friend. And with this tragic arrogance, he actually boasts, "I am greater than you in wealth and stronger in manpower and children." He is measuring human worth entirely by bank balances and the size of his entourage. And the delusion just deepens. Stepping further into his magnificent estate, a thick veil of supreme arrogance falls over his eyes, completely blinding him to his own mortality. He declares, "I do not think this will ever perish, and even if I am returned to my Lord, I will surely find a better place than this." He actively denies the inevitability of the day of judgment, convincing himself that his earthly riches make him invincible. Section 3. The belief as warning and a crucial reminder. This is where the voice of reason steps in. The poor friend, deeply grounded in faith, delivers some incredibly crucial advice. He asks softly but firmly, "When you entered your garden, why didn't you say, Masha Allah la quwwata illa billah?" Meaning, as Allah wills, there is no power except with Allah. True success requires us to attribute all blessings to the divine. He reminds his friend, "You didn't create that river, you didn't make the rain fall or command the earth to grow." Then comes a chilling, prophetic warning. The believer warns that the divine could easily flip their worldly status, granting the poor man a garden far better, and striking the rich man's estate with a sudden calamity from the sky. In an instant, this lush paradise could be turned into a barren, slippery wasteland. It is such a stark reminder that what is given can just as easily be taken away. Section 4. The night of destruction, where divine justice is enacted. The downfall is terrifyingly swift. Before the rich man can even sober up from his pride, the divine decree is passed against his immense arrogance. An overnight calamity strikes, and nature itself turns on the estate. Total collapse follows. The magnificent grapevines fall dead on their trellises, and every single fruit is utterly ruined. By the time the sun rises, that breathtaking paradise has become a barren, completely unrecognizable wasteland. Then comes the morning realization. The rich man arrives at his garden, and the ground just drops out from beneath his feet. He stands there in absolute shock, wringing his hands in crushing, bitter regret as he views the ruins of his empire. The illusion of his absolute control has been violently shattered. He just stares at the devastation, realizing how incredibly fragile his power truly was. From that devastation comes his melancholic lament. He says, "I wish I had not associated anyone with my Lord." Neither his vast wealth nor his massive entourage could save him from the divine decree. He finally understands that by placing his ultimate trust in his material possessions, he effectively elevated them to the level of the divine. A profound realization, but one that comes way too late. Section 5. true wealth, and the futility of materialism. The futility of relying solely on the physical world becomes absolutely undeniable here. Consider the illusion of control. His immense riches offered zero protection from divine will. His worldly power and large followings rendered entirely useless. The overarching moral is so incredibly clear. Materialism, when it lacks spiritual grounding and gratitude, leads only to profound, bitter regret. To truly grasp the depth of this, we must understand the spiritual concept of amanat, which means a sacred trust or deposit. In this spiritual context, worldly wealth is never a permanent possession. It's merely borrowed. It is a temporary test, a trust placed in our hands by the divine to see how we'll use it and whether we'll remain humble. We don't actually own it. We're just managing it for a fleeting moment in time. And so, I want to leave you with this final thought today. When the temporary illusions of this world fade, when the gardens collapse and the wealth inevitably runs out, what true wealth will you have left?